Alright, ready?
If you're from America, you're probably familiar with the tradition of white elephant gift exchanges. Believe it or not, the first white elephant gift was an actual white elephant. The king of modern-day Thailand was known for giving albino elephants to people he wanted to get back at, because although they were beautiful, they were pretty useless and impractical. It was kind of a genius way to give someone a gift that would kind of financially ruin them because of so much upkeep, and because they were a gift from the king, you couldn't use it for work, so that's what made them useless and impractical. This lens is a lot like that though. The subject separation is so beautiful, and the focus fall off is just so graceful, and while it's still sharp where it needs to be, something I wasn't prepared to expect out of a $200 lens. At least that's what I paid for mine. But I almost never use this lens. That's why I made it a point at the beginning to show you all the photos I took on the 45mm lens versus all the photos I took with the 110mm lens on this trip. I didn't even show you all the 45mm pics, but I did show you all of the 110mm pics, at least all the usable ones. And to, shed even more light on this idea, I got this lens back in March of 2021, but I'm just now feeling like I have enough images and use with it to make a video on it because I just didn't use it all that often. I found the 80mm to be almost as great in terms of compression and depth of field shallowness while offering more flexibility in portrait compositions. In addition to that, the 80mm has a wider field of view, but at the same time has a shorter minimum focus distance. In real use, the minimum focus distance of the 80mm is about 22 inches, and that of the 110 is 41 inches. To give you an idea of what that looks like, here's a photo from the 110 at its minimum focus distance versus that of the 80mm. With this being said, I can take headshots that fill more the frame on the 80 than on the 110, which is kind of what you would want to use the 110 for. So the fact that the 80 is beating the 110 in its own game makes me not want to use the 110 as much. And truth be told, this is almost a burden of a lens because I feel bad for having it and never using it. Sometimes I'll feel like I just have to bring it with me just to get some use out of it. For my intents and purposes, I wouldn't be all that upset if I never had this lens. It would make almost zero difference to me if I had it, to be honest. And in terms of the people I'm shooting for, and in terms of like the stuff I get paid for, like senior shoots and stuff for like local artists and musicians, it wouldn't affect my ability to do my job if I didn't have this lens. But, if you are, however, someone who uses an 85mm equivalent focal lengths and you understand the limitations of its minimum focus distance and you're cool with that, then sure, this isn't a terrible purchase. Or if, you got someone to blow and you're already invested in the system, then, yeah, go for it. If you have the Mamiya 645, on the other hand, though, like, totally different experience. This lens is sweet and it's awesome. But on the GFX, maybe not super useful. But as always, you know what you want to get out of your photography. You know how you best enjoy shooting. Separate the objective points from my subjective opinions and all the other subjective opinions out there, and use the information that's available to you to make smart decisions. There's a ton of information out there. There's a ton of people making photography content. Some of them are good. Some of them are like just pure influencer type stuff. I'm not an influencer. I'm not here to influence your buying. I think that part of photography content culture is so corny. So in short, don't be corny and go make photography.